Hi, I'm Alpha, and this is my 5-minute morning show. For those of you who make this a part of your day, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Some of you have even gone and told your friends about it, and if you're one of those friends and you're watching right now, thank you as well. If you like it, then tell your friends, please. I do appreciate that. If you don't like it, I hope you have no friends to tell. That's just the kind of guy I am. All right, the clock has started, although I don't have it with me right now. Clock has started on our 5-minute morning show. A reminder, on the blog you can check out, there's a pretty interesting poll of how Americans feel about this country, and there might be some surprises in there, so check that out. Along with this brain stretcher question, for the first time in 15 years, it's actually getting smaller. Find out what that is. Right now, I'm going to talk about some things going on around the world. Oh, it is tax day right here in this country. Did you know that? Not tax day, but tax week. Wednesday, by midnight, you got to have those taxes in, especially if you owe. They're not postmarked by midnight Wednesday night. Then there will be penalties and fees and all sorts of stuff. Unless you're a congressman or a member of the cabinet, then there's no problem at all. There are over 480 different tax forms in our IRS system. Wow. And they come with pages and pages of instructions. Even the short form, the 1040E, supposed to be the easy form, 33 pages of instructions. Got to be a better way, folks. Got to be a better way. Oh, April 15th is also the day that Congress normally comes up with a budget, but they're going, yeah, no, maybe we really don't have to come up with a budget right now. Kind of a cowardly way of getting around having to come up with some very scary numbers about where our country's heading and the fact that they want to continue a bunch of deficit spending. What a bunch of cowards they are. In Poland, a very sad day, a very sad weekend. In fact, the president of that country, the first lady, some key business leaders, and some key military leaders all killed on what was described as kind of a rickety old Russian airplane. Well, it was an airliner, of course, but it crashed in Russia and everyone aboard was killed. I flew on what was called Aeroflot Airlines. It was the only and official airlines of the Soviet Union at the time, and it was kind of scary. And I can't imagine what this plane must have been like, and it's probably about the same. And to know that our president flies on Air Force One, which I've also flown on. It was Air Force Two because the vice president was on board at the time. But the lap of luxury, the greatest technology, and then their president and so many key leaders flying on a plane like that just seems kind of odd. I just give heartfelt condolences to all the people of Poland and the families, etc. Condolences too to the people of Montcole, West Virginia. When you lose members of the community like that, it is indeed a devastating loss. And coal mining families tend to deal with that loss in a very stoic and unique way. And a loss of those miners, they were not found alive, unfortunately, and condolences go out to them as well. Congratulations, however, go out to Phil Mickelson for winning the Masters. What a great tournament that was. It was beautiful in Augusta, and he comes in with a 16 under to win, a birdie on the last hole. And the end, the very end. Phil Mickelson's wife is suffering from breast cancer, as is Phil Mickelson's mom. So Phil Mickelson's wife had not been to a tournament of Phil's in 11 months, but she did show up in Augusta, had not been able to come out, had stayed in bed pretty much most of the week, but was there on the 18th hole when Phil birdied to win it all. And what a moving, touching, warm, long, tearful embrace it was between the two of them. So you just wish her well. I'm not sure what her prognosis is, but we do wish her well. There are a couple of people you do not mess around with, apparently, and one is the invisible guys in the green jackets. Okay, if you know anything about the Masters, you know that to become a member, first of all, you have a lot of money. And second of all, when you do become a member, you get a green jacket. When you win the tournament, you get a green jacket. Well, I told you on Friday about a guy who hired a plane from Ohio to tote these banners around the Masters tournament that pretty much were designed to embarrass Tiger Woods. I mean, one of them said, "Addicted to sex? Yeah, right, so am I." And the other one said, "Did you really mean Buddhism?" in reference to Tiger's claim of Buddhism. And there was a promise that there would be more throughout the week and they would get better and better. Well, for the next day, when the pilot goes to fly around the tournament, there's somebody there from the FAA who says, you know, we're going to have to inspect your plane. And upon inspection, found it unworthy of flying around Augusta. You know what the problem was? It was a frayed label on the seatbelt. That made it mechanically unfit to fly. So the guy says, well, I got to go back to Ohio. And the FAA guy said, oh, you can go back to Ohio. That's no problem. So You can't fly 15 miles from one airport to fly around a golf course because of this mechanical problem. But you can fly it a few hundred miles to go back to Ohio? Yeah, you get clearance for that. So some powerful guy in a green jacket got to the FAA and said, we got to stop this guy. Other most powerful person? Oprah. Kitty Kelly has written a book about her. It's an unauthorized biography in which she claims, among other things, to know her real daddy. Oprah apparently doesn't even know her real daddy. Her mama won't tell her. The guy who raised her as his daughter, Vernon Winfrey, I believe is his name, not really her daddy, but Kitty Kelly promises to reveal that and a few other things. Well, you know, when you write a book, you want to go on the book tour and you want to go on the big shows. Well, nobody on the big shows is going to interview her. Most of the guys at CNN said, no thanks. David Letterman, some of the other late night people, because they don't want to upset Oprah. Everybody knows you don't mess with Oprah. And finally, this Qantas Airlines taking off out of Sydney, Australia on its way to Singapore, 7.5-hour flight. And 5 hours in, a guy says he's going to bring down the plane. So he's immediately subdued and handcuffed by the flight attendants. He said he's going to bring down the plane using his mind. I'd be like, okay, if you can use your mind to get out of these handcuffs, then we might talk there, Houdini. But until then, sit down and shut up. All right, that is my 5-minute morning show. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about some things that really bother me. I mean, shouldn't you know how to pronounce certain words if you're going to run for president of the United States? Find out what that's all about tomorrow. Again, I'm Alpha Trivette. Thank you. See you then.